Okay, for participants who have just joined, good morning again. Welcome to the first session of the Integrated and Data Science program. So before we start, I'll talk about myself briefly and the agenda for the session today. So I am Sumit. I lead AnalytixLabs. I co-founded AnalytixLabs in 2011. Overall, close to 15 years of experience in data science and consulting now. My focus right from the beginning has been on the data-driven consulting with organizations like McKinsey, ZS Associates, Absolute Data. Fortunately, during these 15 years, I got chance to work in multiple geographies, in multiple industries. And one of the quest I would have today is to help you understand data science in more practical and application-oriented manner. So whenever we start learning data science, there are generally a lot of questions, doubts, and sometimes myths. My objective for session 1 is help you to understand things better, the landscape of data science better, with a lot of practical examples, and of course, mitigate any myths or any concerns you may have. I have seen analytics and data science even before the term big data or data science was coined. So when I started working in this industry, a lot of analytics used to happen using tools like SPSS, Excel, then of course SQL was also there at that time. Then SAS gained prominence, then came the open source tools like R, Hadoop, other big data platforms, cloud computing. Along with all this, sometime in 2015-16, we started seeing the emergence of Python, which is probably the mainstay tool for any data science organization we talk about. So in a sense, what I'm trying to share here, during my journey, I've seen different phases, evolution of this industry, and tools will always come and go. However, the thought process and the techniques and the methods are always going to stay. So a lot of those things I will talk about during this session. Another thing which we would be talking about the job roles. So let me help you to look at the agenda first. So we'll talk about what is data science. There could be multiple ways to explain or define it. Then what are the different stages and types of analytics? Because the term data science and analytics is very broad. There are different stages and types to it. Then who is a data scientist? What role does that play in the industry? Then this all is kind of scratching the surface, because if we have to understand things better, we also need to understand data science from enterprise point of view. So we'll have a snapshot of how a data science solution or data science architecture looks at enterprise level. Then this is important because next thing which we will be understanding are the different job roles in data science. So we all use the term data scientist, which is very popular. Everyone knows about that. However, under data science, there are various types of job roles. And sometimes your designation might be data scientist, but you might be playing different type of role and responsibilities. So all those things we will spend good amount of time here. Then there is a subtopic in data science, which most of the companies, when I say companies, I mean to say the training providers, tend to overlook. That is the ML ops side of it. That you know data science, you know how to analyze data, generate insights, but how do you put those things into practice in production? So we'll talk about that, because in our program, we have a very specific focus on this side as well. And We'll then lastly talk about the course and the certificates. I would want to make a special mention of the certification program we have in collaboration with Nasscom, which is the most influential body of companies in India when it comes to IT sector. And with these certification and courses, we also have a Government of India scholarship, which Government of India directly offers to the students on the completion of our courses. So we really worked hard to make our course industry and both government aligned, which you will rarely find in this domain. So we'll talk about all this in appropriate details. Before I start, anything you guys want to share or suggest? And needless to say, I would want everyone to make this session interactive, come up with your questions, your doubts, not of course pertaining to the individual profiles, because for that we are happy to help you one-to-one offline. And the agenda which I just talked about, this is not hard and fast. So let's say to help you guys understand anything better, if we have to take up some additional topics, deviate from these topics, we'll definitely do that.
Sir, hi, this is Avish.
Yeah, hi Avish.
I just want to know what we will cover in that course, like SQL or Tableau, Power BI. So could you please brief me about that?
Sure. So I will be talking about that in more detail, but the programs which we have, we cover multiple tools here, starting from Excel, SQL, Tableau. We also have an option of Power BI along with Python, R. So in terms of tools, techniques, the courses are very, very well detailed. So I will be giving you a good understanding of all this. However, we'll reach that stage in some time. I hope that's fine with you.
Yes, yes.
Sure. Okay. So as I requested earlier also, before I get into the content, if you have not shared your email ID on the chat, please drop your email ID. Post the session, there will be files to be shared. We will be using your email ID to share the required files and information. Right. Okay. So if we say data science, what comes to your mind? What is data science? Any definition, anything you want to share?
A combination of statistics and a little bit of coding.
Okay, fair enough.
The science around data so that we can answer business problems.
Okay, better, yeah.
Collection of data.
And what do we do after collecting?
Drawing meaningful conclusion from that data.
Okay.
Analysis of a data getting from the different sources like websites from customers.
Okay. Okay. So if I combine all these answers together, we'll probably reach a comprehensive answer. But again, to put something in simple yet comprehensive manner, one of the definitions which I find effective is to gain insights into data through computation, statistics, and visualization. So let's say a question may also come to mind, what about machine learning? So essentially machine learning is nothing but combination of your computation and statistical algorithms. So that makes it machine learning. But if we try to condense something in simple and very, very effective manner, it is all about analyzing the data to gain insights using computational statistics and data visualization methods. Now, one thing generally I would want to add here, because most of us are interested to gain jobs in corporate, build our career, a professional career into data science. So another thing which you might want to add here is to gain insights into data through computation, statistics, and visualization to drive smart business decisions. Because if we are generating insights but those insights are not, let's say, very effective in terms of solving business problems or answering business questions or making better decisions, they do not serve much purpose. We do not do analysis to exercise some fancy tools or techniques. The whole objective is that we can contribute to the business growth. The business growth could be, let's say, improving the company's revenue, or let's say it's not a company, it's a government organization, and it wants to utilize funds for some welfare schemes. So how to utilize those funds in best possible manner so that maximum people can gain out of it. Sometimes it could be how to improve customer operations so that customers are more satisfied and their experience is more seamless. So in short, whenever we are working on the data science side, it must have an end objective which is aligned to your organization. It could be a private company,
Hello?
or it could be a...
Hello?
Guys, please be on mute. I still get some background noise.
PowerPoint on data science.
Okay. Now, one very important thing which Hal Varian talked about
Hello?
some years back.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, who's that?
Hello?
I think it would be great if everyone can be just on mute.
No.
Thank you.
Guys, I take a pause time to time to accommodate your questions. Please wait till then. And I would request not to unmute while someone else is speaking. Thank you. So one important point Hal Varian made a few years back, that ability to take data and to understand it, to process it, to extract value from it, to visualize it, to communicate is going to be a hugely important skill in the next decades. Not only at professional level, but even at education level for elementary schools, high school kids, colleges.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Can you please repeat? Hello?
Okay. Sorry about the disturbance.
Can I request you to please mute everyone? This is just unnecessary. They are wasting our time.
Yes, I've just done that. If there is someone creating some unnecessary noise, we have also removed that person. So don't worry about that. Thank you. I'm sorry about the disturbance. So this point was very important because this was made few years back. However, what we see right now all around us, it is becoming true. If you look at the new education policy of Government of India, right from 4th, 5th standard, the skills related to data analytics, they have introduced that. Even if you talk to someone who is not working as a data scientist or analytics professionals, they are also looking to build analytics skills. So what is happening, the way IT skills became mandatory to be part of modern workforce in, let's say, early 2000 onward. Similarly, from later part of our last decade, even data science skills or analytics skills are important no matter what type of job you're working on. So you may not be a data scientist, you may not be a data professional analytics. Whatever role you are playing, data skills, the basic skills to at least analyze or handle data has become very, very important. So the right analogy would be how IT skills became important to be part of modern workforce. In coming years, it is already happening, but you will see this to be more pervasive, that this will become an important skill no matter what kind of role you are playing. Before I move to the next part, where I would also talk about that data science is not a magic wand. There is certain process around it. Anyone wants to share any thoughts on what we just discussed about the data science?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Arbaz over here.
Yes, Arbaz.
Yes, sir. What you just shared, it was according to me the role of data analytics, to the problem-solving skills and to generate revenue. So how it is related to data science?
See, even a data scientist is at a larger level playing the same role. Both data analyst or data scientist, they have a role to play in solving an organization's problem or answering key business questions. It's just that the methods or the complexity of data they work on, they vary. I'll be throwing more light on it, but at this juncture, when we are talking about that, the whole purpose of analytics and data science is to solve certain problems or answer some business questions, meet business objectives. That is primarily same whether we talk about a role of data analyst or data science. In both the cases, you will be using some statistics, visualization, etc. It's just that in case of a data scientist, the proportion of these skills which be very, very high and very advanced. However, in case of a data analyst, the proportion of skills related to maybe data mining and visualization would be more relevant. But at a broader level, they're both trying to meet the organization side by analyzing the data and generating insights out of it or developing some solutions out of it.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Sir, I have a question here. So I wanted to understand how data science can be seen by the people who have different level of experience, like 5 years or 10 years or 12 years going forward. And the other part, if someone is from the business side, not from the IT side, how he or she must look at data science?
Sure. So if you do not mind, can I take up this question little later? I have actually, the question is very, very relevant and very good question, and I am actually covering it from all the aspects. If we discuss in some time, I would be able to explain it better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
Sir, can anyone do this data science or a machine learning course or any specific category, means engineering or means commerce category can do this?
Yeah. See, to answer your question, yes, everyone, even from commerce or arts background, can do analytics and data science. Every year we get students from non-technical background doing well and excelling in data science. Some of the most successful students we have, they were from actually arts background. One student we had, and it is in fact for last 3-4 years is also one of our trainers, is from arts background. He has already published, I think, 2 books on data science till now. So you can be a data science analytics professional without being a technical background. However, as I said, within data science, there are different type of roles. So not everyone would be playing the same role. A technical person might be more suited to play a role on the ML side, whereas a non-technical person might be more suited to play more on the business analytics side. So the short answer is yes, everyone can be, but you will understand this in full color once we talk about a different type of.
So your voice is breaking.
Guys, am I audible properly to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Actually, you were not audible properly. Your voice was breaking for me.
No, actually, voice is coming properly,
Yes.
but maybe some internet issues in our side only. Then it's maybe possible because Sumit, everything is working fine. Means your voice is completely audible for me actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Guys, if any individual is facing that problem, I would request just check your internet connection once. Or you are using multiple applications on your system, so close the other applications apart from Zoom.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, moving to the next part. That data science is a process. It is not something, a magic wand that, let's say, we are applying data science and we always get wonderful, magical results. It doesn't work that way, because like any process, if we have utilized or have been meticulous about how good we are at each of the steps involved in a process, our results will also be accordingly good. So it always begins with setting a goal. It could be a research goal or it could be a business goal. Then understanding what type of data do we need to meet our goals. Do we need all the data available that is internally? Do we need data which is external? So retrieving all the required data. Then next is data preparation. This is a very important step, slightly non-glamorous side of data science, which people don't want to put lots of effort, but this step actually determines how good are going to be your results. So in this case, we do a lot of things in cleaning the data, in making it useful that it can be analyzed. I'll just share an example. A bank might be recording the data at each transaction level a customer is doing, right? Now, a customer might be doing transactions in different countries. Let's say it travels a lot, she travels a lot. They are doing transaction in different countries. Now, to analyze this data, I might need to combine all the transactions into monthly total transactions. And I may also need to convert the transactions into which are different currency into a common currency. I'm just sharing one simple example, right? There could be a lot of numerous use cases where data preparation of different sort is required. So in this step, all things related to data cleaning, combining the data from multiple sources, if it has outliers, missing values, these kind of operations are carried out. And as I said, if this is not done well, our end output will not be good. So there is a common saying in analytics, garbage in, garbage out. So if your data is bad, your analysis or the results are also going to be bad. So this is a step, as I said, non-glamorous, but a lot of time is actually spent in any data science project while working on this. Then we move to the data exploration. Let's say our data is now nicely set, everything is working well. We explore the data to understand some simple information from the data. It could be some simple graphs, charts, and all that. So before we even move to the fancy modeling, statistical models, machine learning models, it needs to understand your data using simple analysis, using simple graphs and charts, because many of the times the intuitive insights you get from your data can actually be very, very valuable for the business. I'll share one example here. Yesterday, I was interviewing one candidate. In the last organization, he's working with one of the insurance companies. They realized that, this kind of analysis did not need any fancy machine learning models, etc. They just realized that there are some cases, a same person has applied for maternity leave 3 times in a span of, I think, 1 or 2 years. So some kind of benefits which do not make sense. Now, these kind of intuitive things, these kind of common sense things, your machine learning models may not throw, whereas simple analysis, descriptive analysis might share those insights. So this is one step which must be done before the models do come into picture. Then, of course, comes our statistical models, machine learning models, within which, again, we have multiple steps. You will learn and do those things when you do the machine learning modules. Then, once our models are built, we also diagnose these models. Are they making sense? Sometimes the models can give counterintuitive results. Now, it could be, yes, there are some surprises for the business. or there could be you have built the model wrong, or you interpreted your data or the variables wrong. The model is giving counterintuitive results. So it's not a black box. You have to analyze each and every step with a lot of common sense and business logic attached to it. Then finally, whatever results you have got, whatever analysis you have done, presenting that analysis to your stakeholders, to the leadership. Many of the times, we also automate. Let's say we have built a model which was to help credit card defaulters. Now, of course, a credit card company would want an automated system which month on month can tell them that, okay, these are the list of customers who are potentially going to default in next month or in next quarter. So all in all, a lot of steps are involved for a successful data science project. As part of your learning, as part of your journey, you actually learn all these steps through various tools and techniques. That's the reason any comprehensive data science course takes some time, because if I have to just tell you these process, it's very clear, easy. But if I have to help you to understand to an extent, you can apply them. You can use different tools. That's going to be very important. I hope you get the gist of the thing, that data science, like any practice, will have multiple steps attached to it. Any questions on this? And by the way, guys, I am also sharing some important blogs which could be help to you in respective slides wherever applicable. So you can refer to them later on post the session. Okay, any questions? Else I move to the next part, which is talking about the type of analytics. Okay. Now, when we say analytics, as I said, it's a very broader term. To understand it better, we also need to understand that there are different types of analytics. Right now, I'm talking about three main types. After this, we will actually go to the 5 types, because an obvious question which follow-ups after this slide is, where does AI fits into? Is AI also part of analytics data science? Where does it go? So that part will also come in the next slide. However, first, as a beginner, let's understand that there are 3 types of analytics broadly. The very first stage is called descriptive analytics, which basically helps businesses to understand what has happened. So it is a backward looking, that what has happened in the past. There could be questions which are, let's say, very simple. How satisfied are my customers? How is my business performing over last 1 year? Where is company bleeding the revenues, right? Now, the questions can be very, very simple. As you can sense, they are all related to what has happened in the past so far. Now, the question can be more complex also here. For example, how is my company performing over last 1 year across different product categories and different type of cities, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So the complexity of question can increase, but the fundamental nature of this type of analysis is still backward looking. We'll pick one example here. Let's say we pick an example of Amazon, or let's pick an example of Uber, right? So for an Uber, if the question is, how many rides were booked last year for short duration versus intercity rides? So short rides versus intercity rides. Like, what was the revenue contribution of different type of rides? This could be one question. If Uber wants to answer, this will involve simple descriptive analysis. In this form of analytics, we generally do not need statistical or, let's say, advanced techniques. It's more around data mining, and tools like Excel, Tableau, Power BI, they come into picture. Another term which is interchangeably used for this type of analysis is also business intelligence, analytics reporting. So you guys might have heard about that. And needless to say, for any organization, even they are doing, let's say, very advanced form of analytics also, this is very, very important. So no company can do the advanced form of analytics if they are not doing descriptive analytics well. Now it's a human nature. We understand what has happened. We are curious to know what will happen next. That is where my next form of analytics comes into picture. Predictive analytics, which is about what could happen or what will happen next. So we took an example of Uber. Let's continue the same example. So Uber got the answer, how satisfied are their customers, how is their business performing across different kind of ride types. Let's say they want to understand how many dissatisfied customers are likely to leave in like 6 months. Let's say they are using Uber regularly for past some time. Now they stop using Uber and they switch to Ola or any other app for cab booking. Similarly, sometimes it happens, people do not clear their credit card outstanding, which they have fed into the app. How many customers are likely to default? So sometimes what people do, they book a cab, they have fed credit card, but once the ride is complete, they do not complete the payment, enter PIN or OTP, something like that. And for next ride, they will use the other app. So some people may do that kind of thing. So in short, business is trying to understand based on past performance, what is likely to happen in next 3 months, 6 months, and what should they do. Similarly, these companies also have call centers, customer contact centers. What kind of volume can they expect? How many people may connect with them during next few months, where they might need to talk to the customer care? So do they have even enough staff to answer all the queries, or should they recruit more people? All the questions, examples I have talked about under predictive, you see that is future. What is likely to happen? What will be the volume of the business? What is the risk level, etc., etc. In this form of analytics, we typically start using statistical analysis, machine learning. These things do come into picture. Okay. Before I move to the third part, any questions, guys, here?
Yes, Sumit, this is Chris.
Yes, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Now, with predictive analysis, you're talking about statistical. So what type of tools do you use? Because you've got the data in your hand. How do you foresee? So you go back to some sort of a sample data. So what sort of statistical tool do you use? I understand Python and R is predominantly coding. So instead, what sort of statistical tool do you use to make a prediction?
Sure. See, this answer we'll have to look at across a couple of years. As I talked about in the beginning, when I started my career to do this form of analytics, the most popular tool used to be SPSS, then SAS. Then SAS became the industry leader, and it was the largest selling statistical analysis software. The full form of actually SAS is statistical analysis software. If I talk about 2015 onward, open source is dominating the market, Python leading it, R, you can say at second level. Maybe your question is more around the technique, because tools are still Python R, which can help me to use, do statistical or machine learning models. Now, within each of these tools like Python R, there are libraries which are meant to perform these analyses. So there are, let's say in Python, there is a library called stat models, which is specifically meant for statistical analysis. There is a very popular library, sklearn in Python, which is meant for machine learning models. So the most popular tools in industry as of now are Python, R, Julian, However, within each of these tools, there are libraries which are specifically meant for statistical or the kind of analysis we are trying to perform. You will learn more about it. And again, as I said, in one of the blogs, which we'll be sharing, a lot of details given for different type of libraries which are being used. But I think at this stage, getting into that much detail may not be very helpful. But does this answer your question?
Yes. So what you say is like Python has got two sets. One is just a coding, and one is just a statistical tools where you put in the numbers and it spits out the results, and based on that you make a decision. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would, you brought up a very good question, and this is a good point I would clarify, guys. So Python, many of you might know, is also a general programming language. However, what concerns us is Python for data science. So Python can be learned in one as a general programming language. We do not focus on that side. We just cover some minimum basics on that side. Our focus is Python for data science, where we learn specifically Python for analyzing the data, focus on those libraries which are meant for data science applications. Yes. Okay.
Thanks, Amit.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think most of the tools we are talking about are more driven off numeric data. So what if someone works with a lot of text data and want text insights? So which part it would fall in?
Python and R both can handle text data very, very effectively. There are again very powerful dedicated libraries for text data. Natural language processing, text mining, and using these tools, using data science methods, you can do descriptive analytics also on text, right? For example, if I talk about text data, an example of descriptive analytics is, let's say we get 10,000 emails every week on the customer support. We just want to understand what are the top 5 problem areas for which customers are writing to us. So text analytics can help with that. Then predictive could be, we get 10,000 emails and we don't want manual effort to solve those problems. So we can have a predictive model which will predict that this email should go to accounts team. This email should go to admin team. And in fact, at AnalytixLabs in 2019, we developed a model we started using for all the student support emails. They were tagged. They were attended manually, but they were already classified that which email should go to which concerned team. So you can do all type of analysis even on text data. And these popular tools, the reason they are popular, they can work on all these sides.
Okay, and the tools you said like which are good with the text data is Python and R, right?
R. They both are very good with it.
So when I think I have heard it like a lot of time, as you were saying about text mining and other things. So although I'm not very familiar with these, so these are part of these analytics stages only, right?
Correct. So text mining is one of the modules you will learn as part of these courses. When I show these course modules, you will see text mining and NLP, in fact, is a very important part of our courses.
Thank you.
Most welcome. The third stage would,
Sorry to interrupt. I was also having a question.
Go ahead.
So basically SAS was used previously for data science, but now it got outdated. So are there any chances that Python and R also in the near future will get outdated?
I don't see that happening in near future. R is actually already has lost the race to Python. In fact, we have a very, very detailed blog on this, ebook on this comparison, but Python has won hands down. So this is going to be the case in maybe in coming years. Yes, Python may get obsolete, but I do not see that happening in near future. So when I say near future, definitely not next 3 years or even maybe 5 years. So this is going to stay because Python is open source, cost works in favor, and it has huge ecosystem of the libraries which can do different kind of analysis and all that. So it can get obsolete, but not in the foreseeable future, I would say.
And sir, how about Julia? Like, which stage is in Julia right now?
So I have been exploring Julia since 2019 now, so 2.5 years. It has certain advantages when it comes to machine learning applications, but still it does not come anywhere close to Python because it has advantage in very, very small niche area. So it can't really take over Python. Do not see that happening. However, one thing I would mention, don't worry about tools too much. If let's say you know Python, you are working on Python, and tomorrow you see Julia is needed in your organization and all that, it is very easy to switch from one tool to the other. Of course, it may need 1 or 2 weeks, couple of weeks. In fact, many of the companies which take interviews, they are tool agnostic. They do not worry too much which tool you know Python, you know R, it's fine with them because then you will learn it. Of course, there are some companies which will prefer if you know both Python and R. No companies expects you to know all 5 tools. Of course, the most important is Python, or the other priority could be Python or R. That's it. So Julia has not even come to that stage that you may not get a job because it needed Julian. Okay.
Yep. Can I have a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So as we are going through all the 3 stages of analytics, where would a virtual assistant sort of a thing fall? Will it be under predictive or prescriptive? But certainly
wait
not
for that. That's on the next slide. As I mentioned some time back, this question often comes up almost every time. So I have that answer already covered. We'll talk about it in short while in the next slide.
Okay.
But it would be under prescriptive to give a simple answer, but we'll talk about that. Okay. Now, let's say we know what has happened. We know what could happen. The other thing could be, what should we do? Right. So how can our response or business response can be optimized for the maximum impact or maximum ROI? One example, if I extrapolate the same Uber example, so when Uber decides the ride price or any kind of surge charges, anything, that's form of prescriptive analytics. They have historical data, they have predictive analysis on it. They probably know what is the expected demand in this hour. The demand may increase or demand may go down. How many customers we may have more who would want to go on this particular route. So how much should we charge? So that customer can also pay that willfully, and we also maximize our profits on it. So that's an example of prescriptive analytics. There is another very beautiful example of prescriptive analytics, which every one of you has been exposed one or the other way. That is recommendation engines on e-commerce portals. So can anyone relate to it, what I'm talking about when I say recommendation engines?
Yes, I'm not too sure whether I'll be right or not.
No, give it a try.
So when we are shopping, so there would be few products which would come as recommended products, or if we are looking for a few courses as well online. So the website will pop up their recommended products, recommended courses. So they would recommend as per browsing history or something. So is it about that?
Yes. However, in some cases, it could be very sophisticated. In some cases, not so sophisticated. So for example, if I talk about YouTube, Netflix, when you see suggestions that you might also be interested in watching this, right? That is a sophisticated form of recommendation engine. When you're searching through courses, let's say, I'll take example of AnalytixLabs. Let's say we have about 12 courses, right? We know what are in the current job market or industry, what are the top 3 courses we know. So in this case, we may not be doing a lot of advanced analytics at the back end to suggest that. But yeah, it's still a recommendation. So recommendation engines or recommendation on the e-commerce portals can vary up to different levels. However, in some cases, it could be properly as prescriptive analytics. In some cases, it could be a simple rule-based or business logic-based one. But your Google Maps, when it suggests which route you should take to go from point A to B, there could be 5 different options. Which one you should take? That's prescriptive. When Netflix tells you that you may like this program, there are these many chances. That's form of prescriptive. So many of the times I have seen that, at least my experience, when I talk about YouTube, the recommendation is actually quite appropriate based on my mood, what genre of music I'm listening to, what genre of videos I'm to. It actually eventually lands me there just if I keep following their recommendations. And in this form of analytics, of course, there are more powerful tools and techniques which come into picture. Let's say Python R by themselves may not be able to suffice. They might need some big data backbone to support, because this kind of analytics typically need huge volumes of data and needs more advanced techniques, namely machine learning, deep learning kind of techniques. Now, one last point I would make here, as I said, for any company, if they have to do well on, let's say, prescriptive analytics or predictive analytics, they must be having good skills on descriptive analytics. Same is going to be true for any professional. You can't directly land here. It's a journey. So your skills must start from descriptive. That is how even our courses are designed, so that you can handle the complexity as you move ahead in the learning curve. So this will form the bedrock of your skills or any company's capability before they want to move to the very advanced forms. I hope this makes sense. Any questions before we move to the next slide? There are 1 or 2 questions which I haven't answered. Now they will be answered in the next slide. But anything apart from that? Okay. Now I'm going to go a step deeper now. As I said, we discussed about this at a broader level. Now I'm going to discuss it one step deeper. Sometimes between what has happened and what will happen, there could be a question why it has happened. That's where your diagnostic analytics comes into picture. So this is something which is in between or has an overlap between your descriptive and predictive. In this case, some statistical analysis, statistical models may start coming into picture. But logically, it's very easy to understand that, yes, I know my revenue has dropped. But if I want to dig deeper, why it has dropped, what is causing that drop, right? I may need this form of analysis, which is diagnostic. The other question which I did not answer, the virtual assistant or smart assistant, right? So prescriptive was where we were talking about that machines or systems can identify the best course of action. But in cognitive, we go one step ahead. So when we talk about chatbots or your Siri, Alexa, smart assistants these days, right? Dynamic fraud detection on, let's say, credit card portals, fintech platforms, or even our self-driving cars these days. These all fall into the category of cognitive analytics. So here machine learns automatically and also takes a decision automatically. Their decision or their accuracy may not be very good in the beginning, but they get trained in due course of time. Now, of course, this kind of risk can't be taken on a self-driving car, because by the time you buy that car, all that learning has been already done. It is pre-trained if in terms of I talk about machine learning models, it's a pre-trained model. A company has invested decades of R&D, built the model, constantly improved it. Only once it meets certain threshold, that is on the road now. However, if I talk about, let's say, an app-based lending platform, peer-to-peer lending platform, if you guys do not know, let's say these days you have apps where 1 million people are subscribers. Some of them have money to lend, some of them want to borrow the money. So it's a peer-to-peer lending. That app will basically make that transactions at interest rates which works for both the parties. Now, in those cases, they want to use machine learning to detect fraud, that if there is a subscriber or user where the risk of fraud is higher, or let's say ability to pay is very, very low. And these apps are very smart. They will ask the access to your SMSs, your bank statements, because they can automatically use text mining NLP to see what kind of inflow you have in your account, what kind of outflow do you have. Do you have any SMSs which is talking about due payments, default payments, and all that? Now, these kind of models may not be very accurate. A company has launched this product or app, but maybe in 1 year, their accuracy is 60, 70%. Maybe after 5 years, once they have gone ahead in the maturity curve, they are over 90%, 95% accurate. So machine learns automatically and also takes the decisions on its own, and it keeps improving in due course of time. So I hope you get the answer first on the virtual assistant, and you also get an answer if someone had a question that where does AI fit into. So AI is part of prescriptive only, but we have to go a step forward and define it as cognitive analytics.
Yep, got it. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions?
So in this data science course, we'll be covering all these 5 types of analytics now.
Yes, I will be throwing more light on this. For example, if you talk about data science 360, right, you will be covering all these, some part of this, right? If you are covering, let's say, applied AI course, right, or directly machine learning course, you will be focusing on this side of it. If you talk about one of the most comprehensive course which we have, that is integrated program, yes, in that case, you cover everything. You start from very basics. That course takes over an year to complete, and you cover everything. So different courses covers different things. The standard data science course which we have, that will cover some part of cognitive, like the introductory part. You need to get into the AI side, AI specialization course to cover cognitive in detail.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay.
So according to you, which course is best for a commerce student?
So as I said, I do not want to get into individual profiles in interest of everyone's time. However, for a commerce students, you can opt for data science 360 or business analytics 360. Both are good programs. We'll talk about it in more detail. What are the advantages of data science 360 over business analytics 360? But in short, for commerce background, these two courses are very good.
So one more question. Earlier you said it has multiple steps in this data analyst. So how hectic it would be for a fresher to handle all these things?
See, it would be hectic if, let's say, you try to learn everything in 1 month. It would be fine if you are, let's say, giving the due course of time it takes and are also regular during that process. So it becomes hectic. Let's say people are not regular when the course is working on. However, we are also aware about who are the different kind of people joining the course, what should be the pace and the complexity in how much time. So we take care of all those things. But you have to be regular. So it's quite doable. Okay.
So, one question, like you said, the ML will cover the predictive, prescriptive, and cognitive. So if someone goes for ML, is it like he has to be very good at the first two, or the basic knowledge of the first two will do to go through ML?
See, if you would just talk about learning the course, basic knowledge will enable you to learn the course. But if it really goes about, let's say, you can apply that knowledge, you can do things and work on the projects hands-on, or let's say handle job challenges. You need to be good in first two. Then just knowing is not enough. If you just want to do machine learning to understand it, then just knowing is fine. But if your objective is job or hands-on applications, then you need more.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Sumit, this is Chris.
Yes, Chris.
Now, with this, what industries can you apply this analytical skills? Because I work for one of the leading mining company in the world, and we are almost in the mature industry. And where do you think I could apply the skills over there?
Sure. So Chris, give me some time. I would be talking about that. And this could be one question I may address at a later session, just individually for you. So if I talk about the traditional industries where analytics or data science has been applied very, very effectively, they were banking, financial services, credit, telecom companies. Now, of course, retail, online retail, e-commerce is there. In last few years, the manufacturing, or let's say core industries, even mining, etc., chemical processing, all that, they have been using the analytics in multiple areas. So just to share an example, for quality control, or let's say the demand forecasting side of it, data science has a lot of applications. Many companies in the core industries are using AI, let's say image processing, etc., even for the quality control. I'll share one example, not exactly mining related, but similar to that. So one of the oil companies we interacted with 2-3 years back, this was a POC, just by analyzing some of the image data and some variables related to the soil type and soil sample from an, let's say, gas reservoir, etc. They were trying to predict how good would be the output, would it be even profitable to invest our resources to carry on further operations at a particular site, right? So if we talk about these core industries, a lot of these applications are falling either on the demand forecasting and planning side, they are using data science for, 2, quality control side, 3, then it comes to image processing or text mining for better operations and the production management. Does this help, Chris?
Yes, exactly, because we are more looking into the business improvement and the safety sides, because I work for a company called BHP, is #1 in the world in mining, it's got multiple all areas of activity. So sure. I work towards the operations side, and we are more towards process improvement, safety. That's what I was talking where would I be able to apply this?
A lot of scope is there in that. Yeah, a lot of scope is there for using statistical analysis for operations management of operations improvement. We can connect more on that offline one-to-one. I'm happy to connect with you.
Certainly, thanks, Sumit. Sorry.
Okay. So, guys, now it comes to the question. We understand about data science. What does that process look like? What are the different stages of it? Now, who is a data scientist? I can simply say data scientist is someone who does all of this, right? But that doesn't cut the ice. We need to understand that data science as a skill is interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. I'll be talking about this from business point of view also after some time. But you need all type of skills here. You need statistical knowledge. You need a computational understanding of the algorithms. You need to know different coding. And as I said, you do not need coding like a Python programmer. but you need to know Python, which you can use for data analytics. So the most favorite definition I have is a data scientist is someone who knows more statistics than a computer scientist and more computer science than a statistician. Now, why this is my most favorite definition, I think this clarifies a lot of things. You don't need to be hardcore statistician to be a successful data scientist. Your ability should be to apply the required statistics and interpret it. You don't have to derive any things. You don't get into the pure mathematics side of it. At the same time, you don't have to be a, let's say, Java programmer or software developer, but you need to have ample skills on the computer science that you can understand why you are doing certain things. And if you have to extract data or, let's say, summarize data, what Python, one line of code will do that. So kind of jack of multiple trades, but master of none. However, as you will progress in your career, right, then you will have to pick one side. And that side may not be necessary, let's say technical side, maybe let's say coding or statistics side. That one side could be a business side of it, the domain side of it, which I said I'll be talking more about it. But I think this is something which should capture the gist. If you have any clarifications here, please let me know. There could be multiple definitions and no definition could be, let's say, 100% comprehensive, but the idea is to just give you the gist around that. Are we good here?
Sir, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Sir, for a data science or any data analytics, can we require coding knowledge or programming knowledge like C, C++ or Java?
No, you do not require it. It's not mandatory at all. Yes, if you know, certain things can be helpful. But in many of the cases, most of the cases, the candidates we know, they do not know these skills. So it's not mandatory. I'll give you an example. I come from mechanical engineering background. Before I started working in absolute data, I did not even open Microsoft Excel during my college days, right? So forget about programming, C++ and all that. Even basic application of some of these tools was missing at my end. So a lot of things you learn on job or training before job. So it's fine. The thing is, what is really required is the learnability and you are open to learn it. It's not really mandatory. And honestly, as I said, by and large, a business analytics or data scientist role will not really need that kind of coding proficiency or coding skills. If I have to rate myself on coding skills, it will be 4 out of 10, right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It really motivated us, sir.
So it should motivate in multiple ways. People who know coding, there are roles where you can excel more. People who are more from the business commerce side, there are roles in data science where you will do better, right? So that is one thing I'm coming to. Okay, so in short, a data scientist will use these tools, techniques to obtain data, scrub the data, which is cleaning preparation. You will see this is very much similar to what I talked about in the process. Explore the data, build the models, interpret the results, right? So there is an acronym which they use for it, awesome, pronounce it awesome, right? So that's what, as a data scientist or analytics professional, most of your job responsibilities will lie around. And as I said, there is no definition which is 100% comprehensive. There are a lot of things which you will do: hypothesis testing, data visualization. And when you see this long list, do not worry. It could be overwhelming at this stage when you are just beginning. When you will start learning with proper guidance and going step by step, all this after 6 months, 1 year down the line, you can even do while sleeping. Don't worry about that. Okay. So guys, the next step which I would go to is very important, because rest of the presentation around job roles, about the responsibilities rest upon it. That is, how does an enterprise level architecture of data science look like, or data science solution looks like? This is a very comprehensive, detailed. Every company may not have this, but I will first help you to understand this in next 5-10 minutes. I will leave this on the screen because after that we'll take for a short 5-10 minutes break.
Mr. Bansal, can I request you to please put it into a power show mode so that we can see?
Sure. Thanks for reminding me. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Hope this helps.
Yes, thanks.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So what happens is, please try to understand, we are trying to fit a generic framework to different type of industries and domains. Some industries may not have all of this. They may have some part of this. Some industries may have all of this. For example, if I talk about tech forward companies like Amazon, Uber, Netflix, they would have all of this. If I talk about, let's say, manufacturing company, or let's say Chris talked about mining company, they may not have all of this, but as they will be adopting more and more analytics, they will learning more about this. So it all starts from the data, and in present world, we have multiple data sources, right? I'm sorry, I need 1 minute. I can't do annotation if I use in a present point mode. 1 second, I'll open a PDF I have for this. We'll use that. Should be better now. Okay, it's, I don't know what's happening. Something is stuck. Never mind. As I said, it will start from data first. So we have variety of data sources. We live in a world, if I really talk about connected devices, like our smartwatches, mobile phones, tablets, laptops. Even these days, our cars are connected, our refrigerator, microwaves are connected to the IoT internet systems. So we have more connected devices on the planet than human beings now. A lot of data gets generated from multiple sources. So some of this could be device level data. Some of this could be ERP, CRM data. Let's say ERP is enterprise resource planning. Any production company, industrial company will be using that. Then there would be CRM data. Let's say any customer care, any sales company would maintain a CRM data. We have web applications. We have, let's say, YouTube, song apps, Spotify, social media data, etc. So on day-to-day basis, any large organization will have to deal with all these variety of data. This data is ingested into cloud-based systems. It could be purely meant for storage, right? Then after storing the data, as I said, we might have to integrate data. There is data coming from multiple sources, we have to integrate them. There is duplicate data coming from, we have to deduplicate that data. There is data which, as I shared an example earlier in the session, at different transactions, we have to aggregate data. So all those kind of processing will happen here. Now, this whole side of it, where we are responsible for capturing that data, ingesting that data, storing and managing that data, is loaded into systems which can be further used for analytics or data science applications. Okay, the whole side of capturing, managing the data, making that data useful is called data engineering. And this is, trust me, the most sought after job role we see in industry as of now. Internally also, we try to hire a lot of people for this. There's very severe shortage. One large client, we are working with them since 2015. We have a mandate of hiring 1,000 people for them over next 3 years. Trust me, both the client and we are having really hard time. Then after this data reached a stage that it is loaded into analytics databases or operational databases, that is connected to your data science tools. Could be Python, Tableau, R, Excel, SQL, etc., where all the process I talked about related to data science, preparation, model building, evaluation, deployment, etc., will happen, visualization, etc., will happen. So in short, any enterprise level analytics system these days have two sides to it. One is data engineering side and other is analytics or data science side to it. I am dividing them to help you understand it, because from technicalities point of view, it's going to be important. However, in the next section, when we will be talk about job roles, you will see there is a lot of fungibility of skills which is needed to a different degree based on the organization and how experienced you are, where some bit of it you might be handling on both the sides, right? But we'll come to that. But main thing is, do you understand that from data generation, from different type of sources to the analytics, there is a pipeline it, and that pipeline has different stages and different processes in it, right? So is that part clear? Let me know if you have any questions and if you want me to get in depth of any of these things.
So can you tell me what is Tableau?
Sure. So Tableau is a data visualization tool. So let's say we have analyzed the data, but we want to make some nice dashboards, which can help the stakeholders understand that data better. If I, let's say, to a CX or a board group, I can't really show, or even to a senior manager, I can't show the numbers and digits in a tabular form, the way we store the data, let's say in Excel, in SQL, etc. They need summarized data in form of some dashboards. I'll try to show some examples to you in later part of the session. But it's a tool which specializes in converting the data analysis into visual analysis, where a lot of advanced graphs, charts can be made, which may not be possible in simple tools like Excel or PowerPoint, etc. So some basic data analytics capabilities are there. At the same time, it mainly specializes on the visualization side of it.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
In reference to the job postings which we see in the same organization as we are working, so I feel like there's a lot of because earlier I didn't understand. By looking at the PPT now, like it's a mix of both. They require someone who would know a lot of data cleaning and then the modeling part as well. So are these two, like, I should say, like separate things, or like they always go hand in hand? How a person would be specializing in both of them?
Right. See, this is exactly what I mentioned a couple of minutes back. To help you to understand, I am dividing these things, right? But there will be job roles where you will need both of it. But yes, generally you will not find one person who is expert in both. let's say I can have a data analyst who can, once data has reached this stage, right, can prepare the data, clean the data, right, do model, let's say analysis and data visualization, right? But it is very rare that same person will also be responsible for designing or setting up the system which can get the data from all these advanced or let's say modern sources and ingest the data and do lot of cloud computation. No, that won't happen. So the person who will specialize in this may have some understanding of this or basic skills on this. Similarly, someone who will be specializing on data engineering will have some analytics or data science skills. But it is actually a very funny thing. This is something which I covered in one of the conferences in 2017, that many of the times the job JDs which are made are unrealistic. For one person, they are expecting to have 10 different tools and 5 different specializing expertise. It doesn't happen that way. So as the domain of data science is getting matured, they are realizing that, yes, there is need for everyone to understand to it and some skills on it. But if I want someone who is so expert, who can design everything from the scratch, would be a data engineering guy. If someone has to be so expert that he has to build machine learning models that can do default or let's say credit card defaults or fraud detection, would be primarily a data scientist guy. Yes, I may need a data scientist who knows data engineering from a point of view that he can utilize this system, but not a point of view that he has to develop this system. Right, so a bit of that is true, but a lot of such JDs are also unrealistic.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay. Guys, any more questions on this? So what we'll do now, we'll pause for a very, very short break, not more than 10 minutes. It's about 11:30 by my clock. At 11:40, we will regroup. In the meantime, I will be leaving this screen on my system so that you can absorb as much as you want. If you have any follow-up questions post-break on the same topic, we'll do that. Because next are the things which are specifically to the profiles, job roles, responsibilities, right, etc., will depend on the understanding of the same thing. And before we step away, as requested, if you have not shared your email ID yet, please drop your email IDs. Some of this information, some blogs and all that would be handy, which we will be sharing with you post the session. So if we have your email ID, that will enable us to share these things. Right, so pausing for now, and we'll meet at 11:40.
Okay, sir.
So guys, before we move ahead, any follow-up questions on this?
Yes, so Mr. Bansal, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
So recently I joined an IT company and my designation analyst, but my roles and responsibility focuses more on project control work. So how can this course help me to grow in project management role?
Okay, right. See, if you are looking to grow specifically in the project management, data science or analytics course will have limited role to play. So it can help in certain things, let's say better project planning or analyzing some data related to the project in case, let's say it's a nature where a lot of data gets generated or you get a lot of files into, let's say, Excel data, consolidating them to analyze the data. But if it is going to be only and only project management which you are interested in, then you should opt for a basic course. Let's say we have a course on business analytics or just data analytics and visualization, because in project management role, your responsibility would mainly around data analytics literacy, and you may not really need to get into the modeling or let's say hardcore data science of it. So in project management, you should consider from that point of view that you can analyze the data which gets generated or which is needed to plan things. Secondly, if let's say any project or the part of the organization deals in data science or data side of it, you can understand that data literacy is there. So from that point of view, basic course like data analytics, visualization, or business analytics would be a good option. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. I had a question. Just on the tools front. Now, all these tools are absolutely that you have mentioned in your slides are very popular and mainstream kind of tools.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have heard the Esri tools as well, the ArcGIS. Of course, those are very, very specific to the GIS space. But of late we are seeing.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that, as you said, that there are dashboards, etc., which is obviously made on Power BI and Tableau kind of tools. But even ArcGIS has capabilities around making dashboards very not just specific to the GIS space, but also generically. Do you think ArcGIS is something also that is going to come in the mainstream sometime down the line?
Honestly, no. And if our definition of mainstream is up to the level of, let's say, Tableau or Power BI, no, because there are many domain-specific tools, and that to very reputed companies like Oracle, etc. But they get limited to their domain, their popularity and adoption stay limited to their domain, because what makes Tableau or Power BI so popular, or any tool in that class, is the kind of data they can handle and the kind of systems they can integrate with, cloud based, Python based, SQL based, traditional databases, and all that is tremendous. So these domain specific tools, they definitely have the capability on the visualization, and there are multiple such examples, but they never get into that level of detailing if needed, or that level of flexibility across the board, which tools which are specifically and only meant for visualization without being being domain agnostic. So it's very unlikely that it will come into the same category.
Okay.
Right. So I'll move to a very important part where we talk about the different type of analytics job roles. Now, please remember, do not confuse this with designations, because these days designations have limited meaning. With the same designation, one might be doing a different thing altogether. So what I'm mainly talking about, the roles and the responsibilities. And if you have questions related to designation, that also will get covered. I'll talk about that. Now, when we talk about that at any enterprise level, analytics solution or architecture, you have two sides, data engineering and data science. Now, what happens here? We have a job role where person who is responsible for designing the system, that data pipelines, where data can be captured from multiple sources, data can be ingested, right? And can be passed on for ETL process. ETL is extraction, transformation, and loading. This job role is called data architect. So this person will be primarily responsible for designing and developing the system, which we saw in the previous slide, that whole gambit of data capturing to data ingestion, processing, and then data science. The other job role related to it is of data engineer, where this person is responsible for using this system day in, day out to do all that part. So let's say data architect designed the system. Data engineer will utilize that system to actually do that whole pipelining and do all these things from data processing to keeping the data ready for the data analytics side of it. Now, in a company, one person might be playing both the roles. So you will find those kind of situations also. A single person is responsible for both. Let's say it's a small company, it's a small analytics company or a startup. If you talk about large organizations, large enterprises, they will have dedicated teams for data architect and dedicated teams for data engineering. It could be a part of same vertical, right? But there will be fungibility across both the job roles. When we move to the other side of it, data science side, you will find a job role which is data analyst. Now this person does all that, collecting the data from the let's say analytics databases, right? Manipulating that data, visualizing data, analyzing, creating storylining or presentations out of it. The next role, when you move to the more advanced capabilities or sophisticated capabilities of data scientist, now data scientists would be doing all this, plus the main difference would be dealing with more complex algorithms, let's say on the predictive modeling using machine learning, deep learning, etc., text mining, natural language processing. So role of data analyst would be limited to dealing with traditional data, tabular data mostly, and limited to up to statistical analysis. Whereas for data scientist, this all plus handling unstructured data like text data, image data, speech data, using more sophisticated algorithms, deep learning, machine learning, or AI applications, right? Now here also, there would be job roles where you need both the skills. And that is very common scenario that you get hired and at the initial stage of career, you are requiring both the skills. And what happens in this case is, in the initial phase of your career, let's say majority of the responsibilities are on this side and some on this side. But as you grow in the role with more experience, a lot of responsibility will come on the data science side and some on the data analyst side. And it also can vary project to project. There could be a project where largely you're playing a data analyst role and some data scientists, and there could be a project where a lot of responsibilities are on machine learning or more advanced algorithms. So as a learner, when you're beginning your career, you definitely have to be prepared for variety of roles and that fungibility of skills needed to be there. For example, there have been projects where I have played all these three roles. Of course, on the data engineering side, I was not an expert, but yes, I was having skills or the knowledge to get the job done, which was a requirement of the project, right? So that fungibility between data architect and data engineer is very, very high. This is also common, that some fungibility between data engineer, data analyst. And this is, let's say you will see happening 99% of the times. And there will be cases that companies are hiring for all these three in single individual. So our courses are also designed in such manner that what kind of job roles they are targeting and they are mapped to. So if you are, let's say, coming from technical background, you might want to focus in the beginning of your career, let's say to enhance your job prospects on the data engineering side, right? If you are coming from a non-technical background, your first job role might be on this side. And as you progress, you might go more on this side. You have to be skilled and prepared for that, of course. So in short, if you try to connect this job role to this enterprise level, these are the 4 major role responsibilities. We can, of course, keep dissecting more. We can talk about another role, machine learning engineer and all that, but that is probably unnecessary complication at this stage. At some stage, you may need to understand that as well. So any questions on this? I hope this helps you to understand about the different job roles in industry. Yes, guys, any questions? Does it give you clarity? Okay, good.
Yes, sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes,
Sir, this side. Sir, what do you think about data science as we join to fresher? First, we say about my intro, sir, completed my graduation from BCA background. And this completed in 2021, sir. So can we tell me, sir, this time is good for joining a data science course? And because, sir, I'm not continue to Presidium because I'm pursuing the Presidium course in 2021 to 2023.
Sure.
Yes, sir. But sir, I'm a little bit confused to choose to data science and business analyst.
Right. See, anyone coming from com science background, the hands down option would be data science. So there is no much debate, right? The difference between when you talk about business analytics course, it is more focused on this side of the role, right? With some introduction to data science. But if you're talking about bulk of hiring, which happens, companies do prefer candidates with all these skills, which are, let's say, related to predictive modeling, machine learning, NLP, etc. So if you're coming, you have com science in you as your education background, so you should be focusing on data science course. And as I talked about, I will be talking about it more detail. The data science course with little more investment actually has a lot more benefits around it. But let me answer that question later on for everyone rather than an individual. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
So problem solving will fall under which category, data analyst or data scientist? Like if we are getting a case study that we are facing this much of loss, so what's the reason of that loss? So it will fall under which category, sir?
All. So that kind of problem solving skills is needed for any kind of job role. But even for data analyst, right? You can say yes, for data engineer, it could be more on the technical side rather than business problem. But even from the data analyst level onward, you would see a lot of rounds. Even the interview preparation or the guidance which you get as part of the courses, there are itself a lot of questions will revolve around these kind of business problems. So even at data analyst level, you need to have that kind of thought process. What I mentioned in the beginning, any kind of analysis insights without they adding any business value or generating any insights which are actionable to meet business goals is of very little value or no value, right? So even for a data analyst, that kind of problem solving skill is needed.
Sir, how?
Thank you.
Sir, how about the roles for people with experience of more than 10 years?
Right. If your experience, let's say, we'll divide this question into 2 parts. Sorry, can I put you on mute? So I'll divide this question into 2 parts. Let's say someone with 10 years or let's say 15 years of experience, but in IT background. In that case, it will be easier to make transition in career if you focus on this job role, because this is somewhere lying between pure technicality and the pure play analytics. So what happens, your prospects of getting a job gets much higher if you have been part of complete IT background, let's say, and you want to transition into analytics. If you are an experienced candidate with non-technical background, but let's say your education background has comp science, or let's say you deal with databases or data algorithms, you can very well target this kind of role. So some of these things will also depend on your education, that you can directly target the data scientist role, or the safest bet would be begin with this. As I said, the first objective should be making that transition in the career. And as you progress, you can pick up whatever job role which you develop interest into and gain more experience. But yes, you have to be open for both. And based on your education and more details in the experience, the probability of landing in one of those two will change. But even if you land here, this is the progress you will make towards data scientist role.
So, but the thing is, the years of experience that I generally look for data scientists, they look for 6 and 7 years. So that's why my question was people with a lot of experience, because my background is I have a IT experience, and as well as I did MBA, and then I moved into the business side. So I have both side of experience.
Right.
So, but I see that data scientists, they only ask for 6, 7 years. So
correct.
What is it like when you come with a lot of
in
experience?
your case, you will not be really targeting, let's say, an individual contributing data analyst role, right? This actually brings me to the next slide. Let me answer that question along with that slide. So what happens here, if I talk about the whole data science career, it's a multidisciplinary skill where business skills are very, very important. And as your experience or the numbers of experience are very high, your spike on the business side will be higher versus, let's say, someone with lower experience or purely from a technical background. So to succeed in variety of job roles in data science, there are 3 pillars: business skills, which I also may be referring as domain knowledge. Then you also have technology skills and the analytics skills. So for a data engineering guy, technology skills will be more prominent. For a data analyst, data scientist skills, this will be more prominent, but with good understanding of data engineering as well. But someone who is coming, let's say, mainly from business background, for you, it makes more sense to take up leadership roles or more consulting oriented roles where you are not really into doing everything hands-on. You are probably working with the team or as a bridge between team and the business, or let's say business stakeholders or your clients, and playing more consultative role. You can understand what business objectives we have to achieve. You can understand what kind of data and analysis would need. You can guide your team to utilize that. Somewhere you might contribute hands-on, but primarily for, let's say, someone who has been on the business side of the things, pure play individual contributing role in majority of the cases do not make sense. But yes, we do get some profiles where they specifically want that. I do not want managerial role anymore. I want IC data scientist role, where I'm not having any business side responsibilities. But getting that kind of job role after 15 years of experience is going to be difficult, or 10 years of experience is going to be difficult. So if you are an experienced folk, pick up where is your spike and pick an appropriate role to make, let's say, have higher prospects of making that job switch. So what I understood so far from your profile, it would somewhere lie on this side, either on the business consulting side or analytics consulting side or analytics leadership side, where you are primarily responsible for getting the analytics or data science solution delivered, or leading a team which is for decision support, which is basically helping businesses using data science and leverage data or fact-based decision making.
Get it.
Thank you.
So this is important for everyone to understand. So objective is not that to answer one question here, but other people may also have similar questions here. So again, to reiterate, you are coming from technology side of it, there would be a different approach to it. If you're coming from analytics skills, you are a fresher, then probably you pick from this side of the diagram, with this side of the circle. If you are someone with the business leadership skills, you will be picking the roles which are more managerial leadership in. And one thing I mentioned somewhere in the first half of the session, that in many cases, data science is something, a skill. So in short, not everyone has to be a data scientist, but everyone will have to work with the data scientist in one or the other way. So data science education would be a skill you need to build to grow in any role you are into right now. And the objective is, in many cases, not to be a data scientist as an individual contributor. And this is true for any new field. So given that data science AI is relatively new, many companies are looking for senior roles who can do, let's say, account management, who can act as a account director, customer success manager, and work with the data science teams. Okay, any other questions on this side, guys?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, how data analysis role is different from business analyst?
Okay. Good question. I think last week itself, we have written a very detailed blog on this. I'll be very happy to share it after the session. But to answer your question right now, the term business analyst is, I would say, used inappropriately many times. So when you look at the designation of business analyst, you will have to get into the details or the job description of it. This is again the point where I mentioned that designations these days have very limited role to play. So you can have a business analyst designation, which is IT business analyst. The primary responsibilities are to understand the business requirements. What do we need to achieve that, and coordinating with the development team, technical team to get it delivered. There you might need some project management, and you might need some basic, let's say, business skills of handling presentations, and some data analysis and visualization, right? So it's basically a role where you are doing bit of project management. You know how to interpret or analyze data with basic skills, and mainly you can understand the technical requirements and get the team delivered that. The same designation, if we look at the analytics job roles, what would happen? You are more or less playing the role of a data analyst only. Your focus remains in day in, day out, dealing with the data analysis with the skills we talked about in the last slide. This one. However, yes, you are tied to a particular domain or a business practice. Let's say you might be playing a role in a credit card company or a credit card. So a lot of these responsibilities for you become domain specific. And in that case, that company might be calling that role as data analyst or a business analyst. We have seen both the ways. So I have tried to give you a distinction, one, a generic business analyst or a business analyst in the analytics domain. I hope you got that point. So whenever next time you will see that, get into the details. So more than designations, I'm repeating, the job descriptions are more important. We have seen job description, designation would be data analyst, but the job description, if you see, they are playing the role of data scientist, and vice versa is also true. We see the designation of data scientist, but when you see the job description, they are playing the role of data analyst.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, so basically, if we complete data science course, we'll be having variety of options to choose a career and where to land on.
Sorry?
So if you are completing a data science course,
Yeah.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So I was saying that if we are completing our data science course, then we can also opt for data analyst and vice versa. No? It's not mandatory that I'll only go for data science.
Yes, yes. That's what I mentioned at some point, that you develop your skills for this side of the roles. So that is what we do in our data science role. But as a beginner, as a fresher, you have to be open to start your career as data analyst also and progress towards data scientist role. Because in many companies, they will only give data scientist designation after some years of experience. It's not hard and fast, but there could be some filters, years of experience, the college, which type of college tier you are from, and all those kind of things. So as a beginner, you should not really look at these two roles very, very differently. The idea is you get started in this domain.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, more questions? Right. So what I'm going to do next, if let's say we have any pending questions, no. Okay. Let me, there is one more topic I have to touch upon, MLOps. That's a general thing people are inquisitive about. However, I'll come to back later on because maybe not everyone might be interested in. Let me first jump to the topic of courses, modules, and the things which we are covering, because there are some pending questions which are related to this. And once we cover all this, we'll come back to the topic of MLOps. Okay. So we will talk about three primary courses here. Integrated Programming Data Science, Data Science 360, and Business Analytics 360. And I'll also talk about the Nasscom certification we have for the data science module, along with the Government of India incentive and scholarship option. So this is something I'll talk about in a little while. First, talking about the integrated program. So integrated program we have is by far the most comprehensive and in-depth data science program you can find. Right from the building blocks, let's say even if you're a programmer, non-programmer, non-technical, starting from the basic building blocks, it goes up to the very, very advanced topics related to ML, AI, etc. So you learn by start by learning some basic concepts, move to data analytics and visualization, which is, you can say, bulk of your descriptive analytics. So we can also try relating this to the different modules in terms of different stages of analytics we have talked about. So second module here, which is data visualization analytics. In fact, you will not see a lot of separate classes here because a lot of these things are intertwined. But the idea is here you are starting from the basics, focusing on descriptive analytics, moving to data science and machine learning using Python. So you learn everything here. How to use Python as a tool for data science. So here also you will learn about data mining and analytics with Python, statistical analysis with Python, moving to machine learning with Python, text mining and NLP. We had some questions on the text mining, and I said this is a very important part of any data science, or let's say extensive data science course, where we also spend a good amount of time here. And then we move to the AI and cloud computing. So I must mention, in this module, the AI and cloud computing just cover the fundamental concepts. So they do not go in too much of, let's say, in depth, because that's not the objective of this domain, this module. Next, we move to the certified big data part, where Hadoop ecosystem, SQL, non-SQL, NoSQL systems, and cloud computing. So basically the things we primarily need for data engineering, that is getting covered here. And I would also mention, you are not covering this data engineering part as a data architect or data developer. You are covering this as a data engineer only. As I said, focusing on data engineering, data analyst, and data scientist role, because these three skills have higher fungibility. So the basics of cloud computing you covered here, you get into depth in this module. Similarly, you progress into another specialization module, AI and deep learning, which covers your deep learning modules, applied AI applications. So here, the things which you learned at introductory and fundamental level, you are getting in depth. So if I talk about the data science applications related to, let's say, image processing, computer vision, chatbots, right? All that is something which you learn as part of this specialization module. Right? Then one thing which we have introduced in 2021 onward is the ML ops and model deployment, because this is one area where many of the courses we see available lack. You learn how to build the models, but if you can't deploy or use that model to put in production, that has a very, very low significance or impact. So this is a key differentiation in our courses versus many other data science courses you will see, that you have learned about all these machine learning and AI models, but can you also put it in practice where companies can use it in production? And then we move to the final set. When I say final set, you need to complete your projects and assignments up to this part to be eligible for this, where you learn about some business aspects, let's say different kind of applications. So you get a lot of exposure to different case studies and assignments, that what kind of problem areas or industry issues you will be dealing with. But here we specifically focus on some industrial sessions. Let's say if we talk about fintech or banking, credit card, telecom, manufacturing, what are the problem areas where analytics can be deployed, or how it can be deployed. So all those things will be covered here. Then in all these courses, even the rest of the courses I'll talk about, we have given an optional module for R. Why we have kept it optional? There could be some job roles where, let's say, they are using R versus Python, they want R. However, if you have learned all these things well, switching to R will be a cakewalk. So it's a self-learned module at a very, very nominal cost. So this is optional, but we have priced it such that everyone most of the time picks it, because just in case, let's say you are going for an interview or the job roles which fall into that 10-20% category where they need R, you are prepared for that also, or you have in a week's time, you can be prepared for that also. So first, I have a question here. Do you understand this completely? Any questions you have here?
So
yeah,
I've opted for data science 360. And over there in data visualization and analytics, VBA was not there, I guess. So what is VBA?
VBA is Visual Basics Applications. It is there only. It might not be mentioned here. It's an optional module. So if you see that double asterisk, these are some e-learning modules which we provide, which are not mandatory for certification, but we give it to you just in case you need them for any job role or anything. You have that learning content available to you. So based on your need and interest, you may go through them. Okay.
So one question, based on the roles that we discussed today, how can we map those roles, like you told about business consultant as well? How can we map those roles to these courses? Like which modules would be necessary for which role?
Yeah. See, for a business consultant role, and this I am saying people who come from proper, let's say, years of experience on the business side, you can mainly focus on this and this. Okay. Because as a business consultant, you need to understand some basic mathematical or statistical concepts, number one. How you interpret them or what do they mean. Let's say your team is working or you're getting the results and the models. You need to understand different Python libraries, how much time they take, what kind of output they give, or for a given business problem, what kind of approach or model is the best to be used, right? Now, again, as I mentioned, some part of you might be working hands-on, but a lot of this you might be guiding the team or problem solving with the team. But the real need is, if you do not have understanding of all these things to a certain working level, problem solving with the team or telling them that this approach could be better than what they are doing, or for this kind of problem, let's also consider these 5 variables, or let's say try this model against that model. All those kind of things are needed. So to develop that level of working understanding, focusing on these modules is enough. And when I say focusing on these modules, that's our actual next course, Data Science 360. So what happens is, some people, instead of integrated, if they are opting for Data Science 360, in this case, the things which are not included is this one and this one, right? So rest of the things are going to be there. But if you're, let's say, a beginner coming from engineering background, engineering plus MBA background, then going with integrated will give you a lot more wider options and higher job prospects. But as I said, from focusing more on the business side, you may opt for Data Science 360 course, where the deep dive into, let's say, cloud computing, AI, deep learning is not needed. But rest of the things related to your descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, text mining, and all that is well covered here. And this module is something which we deliver in collaboration with Nasscom. So this program is government and industry certified. This is where I will be coming to in short while. But as I said, this is a subset of this program. Right. So hope you understand the difference between integrated program and the Data Science 360 program. I hope that is clear.
Yeah, so integrated is for around 1 year, and Data Science 60
is about
will be
for 6
coming
months. 6 months.
Okay, so that 2 module which we left is for 6 months, is it? If I have to think in that.
Yeah, they by itself, they take about 2.5 months each.
Okay.
Sumit, one question here.
Yes.
So what is the relevance of this certification course for abroad jobs? Will that be useful, getting this certificate in that regard?
See, there are some additional certificates which team can guide you. Let's say if you want a job role overseas, right, in that case, we can suggest you some specific certificates based on the geography and all that. However, beyond a point, if let's say you are certified in any country by the accredited body, or let's say any reputed institute and body, that's the purpose of where certificate stops and suffices. Beyond that, it's going to be the skills. Let's say with that certificate, you get the screening, your CV is shortlisted. For that point of time, yes, this certificate is good enough. But now, how do you do in the interviews, right? That irrespective of overseas or India, that is going to remain same. But if it is about having a, let's say, a government accredited certificate or a reputed certificate from an institute which has a very strong standing in a particular domain, yes, even from that point of view, this is good. I must mention, we get students who are already, let's say, working or studying in, let's say, overseas, mainly in Western countries. They are doing their masters, but they need these kind of courses. We get candidates who are, let's say, migrating to certain geographies where they have these PR options and all that. So they also go through all these courses, because these skills do, yes, carry some additional points for all those applications.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
So just
Okay.
Let's complete her question once. Yes, please tell me.
So
Sir, actually,
I was you go ahead. You go first. I'll go after you.
Okay, sir, I would like to know about what is the difference between integrated program for data science and master in data science. So what could be the difference here between these two courses? So as I see that there I didn't find any master in data science course. So I would like to know about the difference between master and data science course.
See, if we talk about masters in data science, probably you're talking about post-graduation courses. Is that the case? So be very clear on this thing. Some companies are using the term master, but they are not really in traditional sense the masters in something. So when you say masters in something, that typically means in postgraduate courses, right? So any course which you're considering, just look for it. If it's actually a postgraduate course, or they are just using the term master as a name of the product. I don't want to name any particular institute or any particular company here, but I'm just giving you some inputs for you to evaluate. So a post-graduation program will be something where diploma or degree is basically backed by a university. So technically, it has to be from a university. Then only it can be called as master's program in traditional sense and a postgraduate program in data science. The program which we have, that is not backed with a university, because the cost in that case, something which you are able to, let's say, offer in approximately 90,000 rupees goes to 2.5 lakhs for the same set of skills and the coverage. So if for some reason you're looking for a postgraduate degree, you may want to consider those courses. And in that case also try to dig deeper if it's actually from a university. Otherwise, the purpose of this integrated courses in a cost-effective manner, you can get the same coverage which any of these diploma or the postgraduate program offers.
Okay,
Right?
sir, is there any module which we are not covering in integrated program which offer in master data science course?
See, in actually employability sense, no. Of course, there could be here and there minor changes, but if we talk about the skills, what are the skills you need? Data visualization, data analytics, descriptive analytics, statistical modeling, machine learning, cloud computing, AI, ML ops and deployment, right? Industrial and functional, everything is getting covered. In fact, many of these programs will not cover industrial and functional sessions. We do cover. In terms of tool, Excel, Tableau, SQL, VBA, R, Python, everything is getting covered, right? There could be some bit of nitpicking in every module. You will find we have it, they do not have it and all that. But by far, every 3 months, 6 months, we revise our programs based on what hiring partners are looking for, what recruiters are looking for. So we try to ensure that, and sometimes it happens, let's say we start a program now, it's a 1-year program, and down the line, in after 7-8 months, we feel the need that something should be updated, or this is a new thing which recruiters have started looking for. So even when you may not have, when you opted for that course, it was not included. If it is needed, we will be including that. So these kind of things, that's basically the trust of AnalytixLabs comes into picture. So we automatically take care of many of these things, even without letting you know and charging later on extra for it.
Okay, sir, one question more. Will we get Nasscom certificate in integrated program?
So integrated program, for some modules you will get it. So I will just mark it for you. So this is, so integrated is combination of multiple ones, right? So this is what, where you will be getting the Nasscom certification. So a part of it, a major part of it is covered with it. Some part of it is not going to be covered. It's possible that in coming months, even that is going to get covered.
So may I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
So actually, most of the contents are available on YouTube. So besides certification, what other benefits will we get by choosing this course from AnalytixLabs?
Yeah. See, there are 3-4 factors to consider here. One, the depth of the curriculum those YouTube videos would cover is going to be way different. So we can teach you linear regression in 1 hour also, right? And many of these YouTube videos would be like that. But at AnalytixLabs, let's say when you're learning linear regression, you are spending, let's say, sometimes 8-10 hours versus those 1 hour. So in short, what I'm trying to say, don't go by the name of the topic, but to what detail is it going to cover? Is that enough to be covered to the extent that you can handle the complexity which you will face on job? The kind of examples, how close are they like real life? The complexity of data sets they are using, right? So depth of the topic, the complexity, is it like a textbook level, or is it like the industry level? The kind of case studies you are dealing with, is it just to explain a concept, or it is to make you that rigor that you can handle a project on your own, let's say when you are hired tomorrow? That, and many of these things, when you get into this kind of depth, you would need a lot of mentorship and guidance. So all that is the major difference. These 4 things are going to be the major difference in any YouTube videos and the way you will be learning here. And trust me, this is a question which we are getting for years now. It's not something new, and it is very common that sometimes we get students who have opted for, let's say, this online free programs. Sometimes when I say data science for Python, you can find data science in Python 500 rupees also online, right? We get students who are doing that, and after that, when they have gone through it, they realize, okay, to what level are those topics covered, and probably what do I need if I want to pursue a career? There is a sea of difference. Then they join our courses. So if you're learning to just understand a concept at overall level, yes, a YouTube video will suffice. If you're learning to build a skill to pursue a career as a profession, you need a mentored learning there, a structured learning with lot of in-depth explanation, in-depth topics, and real-life case studies.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. You explained very well. Thank you.
How are these courses paced? Like, should we come have some prior knowledge on this course because it will be fast paced back to back? How it should be? Like, can you throw some light on?
Yeah. So let's say you enroll early on. We recommend, even let's say you are enrolling 1 or 10 days week in advance. At most, sooner you do better. Guys, please be on mute. Okay. So sooner you enroll, better it is. But let's say even if you enroll 1 week prior, you get access to this part, right? And we recommend you start going through these basics. Beyond that, the way we have designed the program, we do not expect that, let's say you have spent few months before studying something and then you are again studying. We start the program absolutely thinking you are beginner, you do not know anything. Let's say even some of you might have studied statistics and all that in your education, graduation, post-graduation, college. We assume you haven't studied. So we will be absolutely going from the beginning. Now, the other thing is, after any major module, let's say you have completed till this, and before you move to this module, you can avail a break. You have completed this module, now you want a break, you can avail a break. So that flexibility is built in, considering all the practical challenges which students face, right? Needless to say, we can't have, let's say, a flexibility that you come and learn whenever you want, because no one really completes it in that case. There has to be certain discipline and compliance. But at a practical level, we know there are a lot of working professionals or people who are studying in colleges, they have their studies to maintain. So a lot of checks and balances are there to extend that flexibility, but we are starting considering you do not know anything. So pace will be balanced if you are regular during this course.
So one question.
Yeah.
Sir, as you told us about the Nasscom certificate, so just wanted to know what is Nasscom and how it will, benefit us, getting in the job in the market. If you
Sure.
can throw some light on this.
Sure.
Thank you.
I will be coming to that part only. Just give me 2 minutes. We have talked about integrated. We'll talk about data science. We will quickly talk about business analytics 360. So business analytics 360, if you are targeting the data analyst job role, is a good option to consider. So let's say basic analytics skills, if you're looking for data analyst job role, or a career that you are, let's say, into project management we talked about, or you are into some other managerial role where your objective is in the same role responsibilities, you have to analyze data or deal with data, then this is another program you might want to consider. So this does not cover machine learning or statistical models, only basics of machine learning and statistical models. So many of the things you will see are sounding similar, only up to Python for data science, right? So you will be learning descriptive analytics, data visualization using Excel, Tableau, SQL, etc. You will be learning Python for data science. Again, the focus here would be, you can say, up to diagnostic analytics or basic predictive analytics. So if I map to the 5 stages, here we will be going up to basic predictive analytics and introduction to machine learning. So this is a course which is recommended in very few cases, because the investment difference between this and data science 360 is very less. And with the data science 360, you are getting an industry and government backed certification program. So let me talk about this question also on the Nasscom one. So read more about it after this session. But Nasscom is a most influential body when it comes to the IT companies or technology companies in India. And Ministry of Electronics and IT, along with Nasscom, launched this initiative, Future Skills Prime, which I said that everyone is waking up to the reality that the new age belongs to learning, unlearning, skilling-based education rather than the old degree-based education. So here they are picking up selective partners in India who, let's say, have expertise in particular domains. Someone might be, let's say, coming from blockchain technology. AnalytixLabs come here in the data science technology. So they have some basic, very, very basic courses, which are called foundation courses, right? We do not deal into that. They are also available free. They are like equivalent to your YouTube videos, etc. Then they have a category, deep skills, where we come into picture. So under this initiative, we work together on a course, and there are, if you see, this is not very, might be very much visible. There are 9 NOSes, National Occupation Standards, within the analytics domain, right, where our course is then mapped. So there is a whole lot of process which goes into it. We submit our course content, they validate it, they audit the course, and the audit is typically done by, let's say, EY, KPMG, or these kind of business consulting and technology companies, that yes, this course actually meets that kind of employability standards. So Nasscom, I have answered, is a body of technology and IT companies in India. In collaboration, they have launched some selective courses with partners with certain expertise in a given domain. And our AnalytixLabs course comes under the deep learning, deep skills category, which is aligned to the industry defined job standards, right? That is, and to get this certification, you need to have clear the projects and assessments. So there are going to be projects given by AnalytixLabs. There is going to be an assessments conducted by Nasscom. It's AI based. And in fact, Government of India, the kind of backing they're providing, once you have, let's say, completed your course and the assessment with Nasscom, you will also be eligible for 8,000 rupees incentive, which Government of India directly deposits into your bank account. So in short, a quality course validated by industry, validated by government, and with the government backing to an extent that they are also financially supporting. So the mandate they have given to us that even if we, let's say, train 10,000 students in a year, for every 10,000 student who clear this certification program, they will be giving a scholarship of 8,000 rupees. So basically, practically, whatever is your fees you are paying to AnalytixLabs, 8,000 out of that is going to be reduced. And if you compare the curriculum, if you compare the duration, overall support and expertise we bring to the table, the pricing of our courses is always very, very competitive. So does this help you to understand about this certification and the backing it has got?
Yes, sir. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
get
Thank you.
Nasscom certificate once we complete their assignment or their projects.
So there are two parts to it. There are assignment and projects which AnalytixLabs will be providing you as part of the course that is needed for AnalytixLabs certification and the job assistance, because our job assistance is going to be very, very comprehensive. In addition to that, Nasscom also wants to do an independent assessment. So this assessment is web proctored, like an online test, right? So all that details, how that test is done and all that is shared with you once you enroll into the program. So there are two sides to it. And there is a joint certificate from AnalytixLabs and Nasscom, FSP, Future Skills, which is then issued after that assessment. So the joint certificate and the fee, the incentive will come after their assessment.
Okay, so sir, in total we'll get 3 certificates after completing the course.
2 certificates, one individually from AnalytixLabs and one joint between AnalytixLabs and Nasscom.
What about the short-term courses that you have? Does that offer the certification, or it doesn't offer any certificate?
No, the short-term courses we have that has AnalytixLabs certification. It has got that.
And that has that same projects associated with that module at least, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. And it also offers the placement assistance, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, so if we talk about very basic courses, let's say only data visualization and analytics, which is, let's say, 1.5 to 2 months module. So for these kind of small courses, we are able to offer very, very limited placement assistance, because see, we don't want to just say placement assistance for sake of saying it. We want it to be meaningful. If we want you to be hired, right, there is a certain threshold which companies are looking for. That's why the extensive placement assistance from our side kicks in once you are into a course like Data Science 360 or more. If you are, let's say, for going with any of the smaller courses, which are mainly meant for your upskilling, or this one, that is going to be placement guidance. So you will get the guidance, but the extent to which we can support you getting a job is going to be limited. And that's by the virtue of the skills and the in-depth curriculum which is getting covered there.
So see, what I want is to start with, I can start with the smaller course. If I'll be able to cope up, can I upgrade? Is that the option?
That option is there. Your counseling team can help you. But there is, of course, there is going to be certain cost differential and all that, but feel free to discuss with the team. They will help you with it.
Okay.
A quick question, Sumit.
Yes.
A slightly different. So on the tools front, I'm sure that we would get access to all the tools that will be taught on, right? That will be during the course duration, or will it be even outside the duration for a few months or weeks, maybe, just to practice?
Even after the duration of the course, because what we are trying to do over the years to make the courses tool agnostic, and that's how even industry is moving towards. So all the tools which we are using here, by and large, apart from, let's say, your Excel and Tableau or Power BI, these tools are open source. So we'll help you, will guide you how you can install them and all that. And then they are with you and you can use it as much as you want.
But Tableau
yeah, but what about
Tableau is
Power BI?
licensing. Yeah.
What about Power BI?
So good question. Give me 1 second. So hi Balu, I will take up your question. Give me a little bit time. I will come to your question. Let me answer rest of the question in the meantime. Okay, so good point. So I'll tell you one difference here. In the category of visualization tool, we have Tableau, we have Power BI, we have ClickSense, ClickView, we have Looker. Looker is something which in fact Google purchased, I think 2019 or 20. For US clients, this is very popular, Looker. Now, this is something we cover by default. Why? Because we go by the job. Employability and job is our main criteria. So as of now, if we talk about the number of job roles, they are still highest on Tableau. We cover this, right? Second, following that is Power BI. We give it as optional. Again, trying to make it very, very cost effective. So there is a module of 4,000 rupees, which is optional. This we do not cover in the individual programs, in corporate trainings and all that we do cover, right? But the point which I want to make, because in one or the other way this question keeps coming up, yes, the tools are important and all that, but beyond a point, you will have to be selective with the tools. It's not going to be possible for you to learn all the tools. So sticking to top two, which is being industry, is good enough. So that is what is our approach. And I will also assure you, let's say tomorrow we see the number of jobs on Power BI is higher than Tableau, we'll be very happy to replace Power BI with Tableau. So this is going to be an approach. As I said, we are very tightly focused on the employability, and the courses are designed not just by what is buzzing in the industry or what is a buzzword, but what recruiters are looking forward to hire. And there is an offer going on, which will be ending today. This 4,000 rupees Power BI course is the actual price is actually 10,000. In combo, along with the other courses, it costs 4,000, but even this will be free for the students who are enrolling by today. So this Power BI module, you can avail it at free for students who are enrolling today. Okay,
yeah,
but
so
if you have an option to
three courses you have shown, not for the individual module courses, right?
No.
So Tableau is available throughout the duration of the course by default, and Power BI is for a charge. But nothing is beyond the duration of the course for any.
You have these tools. So for Tableau and Power BI, there are cloud which are free of cost. So you can use them as much as Tableau and Power BI allow. So as of now, that is available to everyone. So even after course, you will be able to use them.
Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, yeah. So I've already enrolled in the Data Science 360 course, but I wasn't told that Power BI is free of cost for now. Like you said that.
No, don't worry. You will get it. You will get it. That's fine.
Okay.
You will be getting it. So, yeah. So anyone who has enrolled up to today will be getting this.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. What's the difference between self-paced learning and live classes, and how does it make sense?
Okay, good question. So how it makes sense, I'll answer that. Let me tell you the difference. So live classes is a batch-based approach. So let's say we start a batch. There is a batch, let's say starting from 6th of March, right? So every weekend there will be classes, weekend classes, 3 hours each, right? With very few or small components as e-learning, which are, let's say, your concepts building or basic things, but you can say 90% or 95% of your content is going to be live. So out of, let's say, if it's a 500 hours course, about, let's say, maybe 40, 50 hours is something you might have to go through as e-learning. This is your live batches. Now, in addition to that, you have self-study and all that to be done. And for all these batches, you also get the recordings, etc. The self-paced one is basically you get all the learning as pre-recorded classes available to you right from the beginning. So rather than waiting for the batch schedule of, let's say, 3 hours each day on Saturday, Sunday, let's say in a week, if you can give 9 hours or 10 hours, right? Or let's say you can't even give 6 hours in a week, you want to do 3 hours or 4 hours in a week, you can do that. So in this case, that's the thing. But one major difference at AnalytixLabs versus other institutes, most of the other institutes, I would say, I'm not sure, I can't generalize for 100%. You have live doubts every weekend. So if you are someone who can learn by yourself, you have that kind of discipline, you go with this, right? And every Saturday, Sunday, there are live sessions where you will log in at a designated time to ask your doubts. In addition to that, you can ask your doubts on mails, etc. also. Right, so live classes, etc. Here, e-learning classes, pre-recorded classes with live doubts. So this has flexibility in terms of schedule you want to follow. Number one. Number two, there's cost benefit. So depending on what is your learning style, what do you feel more comfortable with, it will make sense to you which one do you want to pick.
And even in self-paced, we'll get both the certificates, like from Nasscom as well as AnalytixLabs.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I will reiterate, the Nasscom certificate is for the data science module, even within integrated. In BA Business Analytics 360, there is no Nasscom certificate. Right.
When
so,
I inquired, there were weekday classes. Now weekday classes are not there, is it?
No, sorry, my bad. So in live batches also we have weekday classes. So when I say weekend, there are weekday classes also. So it is 4 days a week, 4 hours per day.
So do we get to choose weekend or weekday, or is it like some modules are weekday, some modules are weekend? How are they placed?
I'll explain that. So majority of the modules in weekday, the bulk where you can actually go with a certain speed will be available weekday. So let's go back to the curriculum. We have introduced this change in 2020 onward only, and I'll tell you the reason for it. So in weekday classes, apart from these two modules, these two and this, so basically, which is a small part of the course, this is going to be weekend, right? So let's 12 hours, 24 hours, and approximately 50 hours, 24, 60 hours of this program. This is going to be the weekend. Rest, the bulk of the program is going to be weekday. And the reason is, by the time you reach and complete this, there is a lot to process, work upon your assignment and case studies. And if by that time you're anyway regular with the course, you can start working with your mentors on the CV preparation and etc. And as we get into more advanced topics, the speed with which you can consume and practice will also slow down. So that's the reason we made this change in 2020, late part of the year. And we started realizing that after machine learning, students needs more time for self-study and less time for the live classes. So we made that change.
Oh, Also, you have the offline classes, right, for the same options in Noida and Gurgaon, right?
Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, all three locations we have offline classes.
So I can also enroll if I am interested in the classroom program, the same modules, right?
Yes, yes. You have to
So,
just check which batch is available at what date at what location.
so at the same time, if I said that I'll be starting with the smaller section of having the short-term program, and then I want to upgrade, so I can do the same with the classroom program. And if
Correct.
that suits, I'll be able to cope up. I can extend that, right?
Right, absolutely.
Great. So can
So
you?
will this?
Yes.
Yeah, please go on. Please go on.
So I want that schedule for the Noida location.
Sure. Please ping your email ID on the chat. My team member will help you with all the required information.
Yes, please. Okay.
So just to correct, Sumit, this online version of this class is available only on weekends. And if I'm only available on weekends, I cannot attend during the weekdays. That's okay, right?
So let's say there is a weekend batch, there is a weekday batch. Both are available online and classroom. Okay. You want to attend, it depends whether you want to go for a weekend batch or a weekday batch, and which location, which batch is starting. You have option of both classroom and online.
Yeah, so I'm abroad. I can only attend the.
You can attend online, and trust me, it won't make a difference. The support, the how immersive would be the experience, that all will be same.
Okay.
Sir,
yes.
Could you throw some light on placement cell and the trainers who will be training us?
Yes.
How the placement cell works?
Yeah. See, trainers I can just give you a generic idea. So for different modules, you may come across different trainers. Let's say for this part, we have a data visualization, we have one trainer, and for Python, data science, machine learning, another, because based on their expertise, they will be teaching that specific module. But all trainers which we have, they come with a certain experience and good understanding of the data science domain. So basically, I can't, because some batch people would be joining some batch in weekday, weekend location. So I can't really give you the name of one or two trainers right now, but the trainers would be coming with the relevant industry experience. That's number one. Number two, on the placement side, so we have a dedicated team that sits out of Bangalore, and that team directly works under one of our co-founders. I am also involved in that, but not on day-to-day basis. We have some weekly cadence on that. And the idea of that team is to support in following manners. One is, and by the way, that team is based out of Bangalore. However, your mentors can be available in all three locations. So based on your availability and all that, you can get a mentor assigned in your respective location, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Noida. So your profile building, this sounds very simple, but it's not that simple, especially for the working professionals. So profile building, interview preparation. In some cases, you may also need mock interviews, right? Referrals, right? And a continuous feedback. So idea is, let's say you should be placed. You have done all this. Let's say first, all these four things are working for you, but somewhere you are not converting, you are not able to get through. So you will stay in touch with the placement team. You will stay in touch with the mentor that I have gone through these 3 interviews, but I could not crack. Because from our side also, we would want to evaluate any improvement area. Sometimes the improvement could be you are not able to explain the technical concepts that well. Sometimes it could be you are explaining, but you are going too technical. You have to also tie the things from a business point of view, business sense, right? For working professionals with certain years of experience, how well you are able to connect with your past experience or the knowledge or the domain understanding. So sometimes you will get placed in, let's say, 1 month. Sometimes it may take even 6 months. But our support and effort will be throughout until you have not got placed. Needless to say, this also needs that you also applying from your side. So there are some prerequisites that your job portals, CVs, and all that are updated as discussed, because it may happen that you are getting referred, you could not crack that interview, or let's say you did not get called through that, but when you're applying from your side or with your LinkedIn profile, you got shortlisted and then you got selected. So it's, again, as I said, if a data science is a process, learning data science is a process, and similarly placement is also a process. So that process is taken very seriously, and there is a dedicated team which works on that continuously.
So, hello.
Yes.
Sir, just wanted to reconfirm again that all the classes will be going to in hybrid mode, right? Whether online or offline. If we want to go on the, wanted to take offline, I can take offline as well.
Yes.
But if I am not able to go to the offline mode, I can take online as well. Correct?
Yeah, many students do that.
And if sir, somehow I missed my class on the weekend, and I just wanted to study on a weekday and the previous class, so will that be possible in our e-learning portal?
So not the live, but what happens for every class, whether you are doing live batch, you get recording. So by same day,
okay.
your recordings are available in the LMS.
Okay.
So as I said, AnalytixLabs has been in this industry for pretty long. So from student centricity point of view, a lot of things we have designed, developed over the years, considering what challenges students face, practically how much time they're able to give, how much duration a course should be spread to, right? What all features we can add to the learning management system. Let's say 2 years back, we even added a facility for bookmarking, taking notes within the LMS under the videos. So we are continuously trying to improve your learning experience and employability. So trust us on that completely. So recording is a very essential piece of it, which we have since 2012.
Sir, I've also heard that AnalytixLab was partnered with IBM. So will we be eligible for IBM certifications as well?
So you will be eligible for, however, so that you will have to go through independently. We'll guide you for that. So there is a certain content you will have to consume in addition to this content. It was always like that, right? And there will be some MCQ based test you will have to conduct on the IBM, this one. But as I iterated, don't worry about gathering, let's say 5 different certificates. 1, 2 credible certificates are good enough. Beyond that, it will be your skill and the interview that will matter.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Sumita, you have said that in self-paced learning, there will be a live sessions on every weekend, right?
Doubt session, yeah.
Yeah, a doubt clearing session, yeah. What would be the timing for those sessions?
I'm sorry, I do not know that one. If anyone from my team is connected online, Sabrish Naveen, if you know, please share that. But
so it's 3 to 5 in the afternoon, every Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday.
Every Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
Yeah, okay. Because Saturday is not possible for me to connect. That's why I just wanted to confirm with you. If it's not mandatory to connect both the days, right?
It's not mandatory, but some topics will be, let's say, covered on Saturday, but it's fine. If you can't connect live, there is mail support and phone support will help you with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, fine.
So we just wanted to understand on the weekdays and weekends batch timings as well, morning and evening.
So weekend is always going to be 9 to 1, or let's say 9:30 to 1:30, approximately that. Weekend batch, depending on batch to batch, some batches are in the same time slot we had this session, 10 to 1, right, or 2 to 5. So there are some batches which starts at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. slot. There are batches from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. like that.
And what's about the weekdays you said?
It's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
9 a.m.
Yes, 9 a.m. IST. Morning to afternoon.
Okay, because
This
for working professionals, I believe it won't be possible in that.
Yeah, so weekend is good enough because you have see more number of classes you attend in a week, more self-study also you have to do. So weekday is generally people who are not working at the moment, freshers and all that. That batch is more suitable in that case.
Okay, thank you.
so ML AI, these are never available on weekdays, is it?
No, and I explained you the reason, right? Yeah, because by the time you will sorry, clear this part, there is a lot of things you will already have to work on, or you can buy or utilize that time on your profile and in the interview side.
Okay, how about hands-on experience? I'm looking for more like hands-on experience side rather than on certification side. So
Sure.
do we have plethora of that, or it's like restricted? We have only few and we just practice them.
No, you have a lot of them. If you see this yellow box, right? Just in data science 360, right? Or even in integrated, there will be over 50 assignments and projects. So you would have assignment or case study to work on every weekend. Initially, there will be simpler assignments. As you progress through the course, they will change into industry-like projects, right? And they will be plateful, right? However, we get requests sometimes from the students. Let's say they want more, or they want a particular type of case study or project. Even after these projects, if you want more, that will be available.
And how about I enroll for a course and I know something about the other course, but just to judge my knowledge, if I need some questions for the course which I have not enrolled, will that be possible?
That is possible. You can get all the information. If you are already in touch with them, then they can help you with it. You can directly reach out to them, else drop your email ID. Team will ensure that they get back to you and help with their queries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I need to take one question which is pending in chat for quite long. Balu, are you there? So there is question which is waiting from Balu for last half an hour. So let me answer his question. So I've completed BSc Computers in 2020. I have knowledge in Python, Java, C++, so Balu, you should, given that you're already from C++, Python, this kind of background, and your focus is more on the development side, app development, or let's say AI based development side, we have a course called Artificial Intelligence Engineering that will be more suitable for you. I'm not discussing that course in this one. I will just share the link for that course. But given your interest and education background, if you want to go more into the app development side, etc., and especially even most of the apps, etc., these days are quite AI based. So this will be a good course for you. So I'm just pinging the link for that one. And I believe you must be in touch with any of my team members. So feel free to talk to them about it. Right? Does this make sense?
So one small question.
Yeah.
In the live classes, is there any attendance criteria also?
No. However, it will impact your performance. If you are not sure about maintaining good attendance, why not save money and go for the self-paced learning? There is no attendance criteria, but be regular. At least you should be attending on regular basis. It should not happen you're coming on Saturday, then missing on Sunday, or coming on Sunday, missing on Saturday. That won't help. In that case, go for self-paced learning.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
We talk about, so you said that there are doubt support while we go for the online program. What about the support which we get if we are enrolling for the classroom program? So while I'm doing my self-paced learning in my weekdays, is there a kind of support? So if I'm stuck somewhere, I can't be
Yeah.
waiting whole.
Yeah, there is. So same kind of support reaching through mail to the training team. Generally, you get support within 24 hours. Or in, let's say, if you're attending a boot camp, last 1 hour is dedicated for practice and all that. That is going to be available. So in terms of support, both in live or self-paced, you have that mentorship and one-to-one support as and when you need it. There is a question between weekday and weekend. Why weekday has 4 hours? So in weekdays, you do some some practice then and there on the spot, and it also helps you to complete the program faster. Otherwise, in terms of content and everything is same between weekday and weekend. Bhavna, yes, interview preparation and referral is available for business analyst course also. However, there is a limited support because the employability prospects, if you, let's say someone is doing business analytics 360 versus data science 360, obviously the skills, the coverage and all that is different. So the prospect of job and all that is also going to change. So all support and guidance would be there, but there will be some difference in terms of the coverage.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, 1 minute. I am taking some questions from chat. Manu, yes, for business analytics 360, we have placement assistance, but same thing I mentioned in the previous question. The coverage and the extent of support will vary, and the success will also vary, because one is coming with a very extensive certification with government and industry, and it is covering ML and ML ops skills, which are really mandatory, kind of mandatory. So even if you are from mechanical engineering, you should first give preference to data science 360 program. Okay. Guys, please be on mute. I am getting background noise. Okay.
I have a question regarding two.
Yes.
If I talk about specifically about Tableau and Power BI, so there are individual certifications which are done from the autonomous body of like Tableau and the other as well. So
yeah.
Indian knowledge is provided for these two topics. So if I want to go and apply for the exam for like Tableau certification, desktop certification, professional certification, so what kind of activities are covered in the course? Would I be able to go for those individual certifications as well?
Yes. So I will tell you, the answer is yes. However, there will be some additional study material which you will need, and we will help you with it. The reason that there is a difference, we are focusing under more on the job point of view. Many of these vendor specific, technology specific certifications are from commercial point of view. Let's say they want to create 10 different certificates about from it, and it's not that it's purely commercial, there is a reason for it, but more or less they will focus on only one side of it and go in depth there. But from job point of view, you may not need to go into, let's say, one small aspect into that level of depth. So the answer is, if you want to go for it, yes, you can go. However, there will be some additional support and study material which you will need. We will help you with it.
And that will be provided, like that help is there.
Yes, yes, yes. Great. So another question for self-paced, can there be in-person support at the moment? Sometimes it will be possible, Niharika, but not at the moment. Sometimes it's possible.
Sir, can I ask you one question?
Give me 1 second. I'm completing the. So Puneet, even when you're attending online, let's say all that facility, even for you to share your doubts or your assignments or share your screen with your problem you're stuck with, it's fully interactive. So the way you can talk back to the trainer is talking back to you. You can also share your screen. So in a batch setting, in a bootcamp setting, that will be possible. Or even when you're discussing your doubts, you cannot do all that.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, as I have, yes, you continue, man.
Guys, I will request one thing. We are anyway
Sir,
over.
this is Vinay.
Yes, Vinay. Let me take one last question. What I was suggesting, I'm happy to help you with your questions even on one-to-one basis. In coming days, we can schedule that class sessions. So let me take one more question. We are over time, and then what we will do, reach out to with the team, and I'm happy to connect with you if there are
Sir, last question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, at present, I am the lecturer in statistics. Sir. I completed a SAS certification course and certification course. Sir. At present, I come to this field, data science. Sir. This is the better, sir. This is the better to me.
See, for any statistician, statistical background, data science is going to be far more lucrative. Okay. So, and it is also natural progression. The kind of things and learnings you have, even by the virtue of going through SAS certification, will be helpful. And the job prospects and the career growth will be better. So I would encourage, if it interests to you, please pursue that.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, as I am fresher, we have no any experience for any field. So, sir, please suggest me which field would be right to take and start my career, like data science and business analytics and data analytics. Please suggest me, sir.
Depends on education background. So, what can you tell me about your education background?
Sir, I'm completed my graduation BCA background.
Okay, computer applications.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. See, in this case, connect with the counseling team. They will evaluate few more things. For BCA candidate, both courses are good, Data Science 360 and Business Analytics 360. But we would want to evaluate few more things like communication skills and improvement areas in overall profile. Based on that, they will suggest you the best course. Eligibility is there for both. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But sir, I'm little bit confused, sir, which is good for like my data science and business analytics.
Are you in touch with someone? Please share your contact details or number. Someone will call you today and help you to make a decision, because we need to evaluate few things in more detail before we can suggest you one course.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Need to wrap up now. I hope the session was helpful. It helped you to clear your doubts and develop better understanding on that domain. Feel free to connect with my team. If needed, you will also be connecting with me. Happy to answer any unanswered questions or help with the one-to-one profile discussions.